Yes, we're live. Hello everyone, there is Hanka from Cesto Ayurvedy, which means the Ayurvedic way. And I'm a Czech Ayurvedic practitioner who started to do interviews with Ayurvedic professionals to spread the word about Ayurveda and to get people more familiar with Ayurveda. And today I have a pleasure to invite a very special guest to have an interview that is an Ayurvedic physician, Dr. Dhodapkar. And Dr. Dhodapkar has gained her qualifications in India. She has gained this B.A.M.S, the undergraduate degree, as well as medical doctor degree, postgraduate degree at the Maharashtra University of Health Sciences. And let me invite her to join our call. So I know that Dr. Sayali Dhodapkar has just recently came to the Czech Republic. Okay, we are connected. And I had the opportunity to meet with her, and I'm really happy that we have her in the Czech Republic and that we have her here. Hello, Dr. Sayali.
Hello, namaste, hello.
Can you hear me very well?
I can hear you properly.
Perfect.
Is my voice clear?
Yeah, it's very clear. So thank you very much for joining us for this interview where we will be speaking about myths in Ayurveda, that there are still many, I would say. First, I would like to ask you, how are you? Like, I know that you only recently came to Prague, where you're practicing right now. So how do you find the Czech Republic from the culture point of view? How different is it from what you're used to?
It's beautiful, first of all, I would like to say. And it's a summer time, so it's beautiful right here. Very lively environment, and it's very close to nature, I feel, rather than like crowded places. And yes, of course, I miss India, but it's beautiful right here. So yeah. And
this is interesting what you've said, because for us, Prague is the capital, and we consider to see it as a city with not much nature. But you just explained that for you, it's quite the opposite impression, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Well, as I said, I'm really happy that you could join us. I would just add about you that I know that you have more than 8 years of practice of Ayurveda in India. And so let's kick off, let's start. And my first question would be, what would you tell to someone who would say that Ayurveda is an archaic, outdated, obsolete system? We know that Ayurveda is said to be some 3,000 to 5,000 years old. And someone would say, you know, it has no scientific evidence whatsoever, especially nowadays with current scientific discoveries, when something that was valid even yesterday is not valid anymore because of new discoveries. So this is the paradox. How can something that is so old be still useful or beneficial to us?
Well, that's a great question you asked. It's still valid because of the results. First thing I would like to say, if you apply the ways of Ayurveda, the simple evidence which we can give right now to our audience, to someone who is interested, the simple evidence itself is in the practice, itself is in the results. If we see the results, it's proven. If the main aim of Ayurveda is to keep a person who is not healthy, who is healthy, and keep his health in the state, whichever it is, and to remain healthy. Help a person to remain healthy, and who is in agony, who is in pain, to solve that pain. Simple, very, very basic, if we say. And if that is getting resolved, I guess that's the best evidence one can give. Second thing, it's the science of life, and it just not only tells you which medicine to take when you're sick, but it tells you that what will be the ideal part and ideal way to be highly productive, highly motivated, at the highest level of your health, mentally, physically, if you have an angle, spiritually as well. So that's nowhere, I guess, found in such a systematic manner, I guess. So people who say it's an outdated system should go and learn more about, and learn in depth, or at least experience themselves, which will be the best way to experience, is the best teacher, I guess.
Yeah, thank you for pointing this out, because this is also my experience, that usually it's the lack of knowledge of people, and this is also the point of this interview, to actually more explain what it's really about. Because what I can see in the Czech Republic, usually what people imagine under Ayurveda would be some health products or wellness, spa, maybe something related to diet, something related to herbs, yeah. But that it's such a big system of holistic approach to life. This is very unknown, I would say. Perfect. So, and imagine that I'm an allopathic doctor who would really say, so are there any studies, any scientific studies that can prove that Ayurveda actually works?
Yeah. Well, you mean there's scientific evidence, whether there is any scientific evidence. So the first thing I would like to say is yes. And if you go into a link called as CCRAS in capitals, it is Central Council for Research in Ayurveda Sciences. It's the autonomous body of Government of India, AYUSH Ministry, and which promotes, conducts, develops, and organizes all the clinical trials in the Ayurveda system. And there you will get all the research papers, the design of the clinical trials, and of course we can share the link of this CCRAS, and you can get everything right over there of whatever clinical trials have been happened and which are ongoing, and you can refer to that. And it is disease wise, it is intervention wise as well, because Ayurveda is not just giving medicine but is also an intervention, like abhyanga or massage. So to what layer the oil goes, what it causes, and so panchakarma and its effects. So that kind of, so there are multiple millions of we can say millions of interventions which are there, and the studies are also going on, which you can refer to on this website. Aside, means keeping this part aside, a scientific evidence, does it really need to be only in clinical trial? That's a question, because anything which fits only into the system of clinical trial, the model of clinical trial, any clinical trial, and that is the only scientific thing. Everything else is not scientific. Is it a wise statement to do? I guess that is not, because the experience is the best, or the result is the best scientific evidence, I can say. So patient or a client is getting cured, his pain and agony is getting cured, is the best scientific evidence. So we should stop evaluating Ayurveda and we should stop fitting the patterns of Ayurveda or the examination systems of Ayurveda into the modern medical system. Are you getting it? So Ayurveda sees towards a client or towards a problem in some different language. The language of doshas, language of dhatus, language of 5 basic elements. This language we are trying to translate. We are trying to find an equal thing into the modern medicine, which cannot be translated. It's a different system. We are trying to say a fish to climb a tree, which is not competent. So we need to go into the water to see the fish swimming, and then evaluate its performance, and not on the basis of whether he is able to climb a tree or not. So trying to fit in everything which is there in modern medicine, which are a viewpoint of modern medicine, and that our efforts or people efforts of what people know to fit that viewpoint into the Ayurveda's methods. So it's kind of, not very
thank you, Dr. Sayali. So basically, can you say what in Ayurveda is the wider picture, than, let's say, in allopathic medicine? What in Ayurveda is taken into account that is not taken in account in the Western or modern medicine? When you're saying that it's a different approach.
Yes, that's a great point. Yeah, it's a holistic approach, I will say, in one. It tries to. Suppose a person, I'll give an example. If you are suffering from headache, simple, very common. So it does not only take into account the problem of headache, which you're suffering right now, but it takes in account of your body constitution. A person with this body constitution, in the language of 5 basic elements, what he has eaten, what is his prakriti is, what is the right now problem, does it has any connection with the previous problem? So his diet, his recent diet, his history of diet, his family history, his emotional part, the manas part. So all these approaches, it's a holistic approach. So the problem solving is from the root, and not just stopping the headache, which is very, I guess this is a very common thing which people do know about Ayurveda, and they do take different parameters in account. Ayurveda system takes these things in account, which helps solve the problem from the root. That's the best thing, I guess.
So you're basically saying that it's a whole bunch of things that you really need to consider when you're treating a patient, including even the season. Probably if you're treating the person in winter, it's going to be, it can be different than if you're seeing the patient in hot summer, right?
Perfect. And even the problems which the type of headache, suppose if we were on that example, if we observe the headache, the type of headache in the winter and the same person getting the headache in summer, it can be different. And that's a part of experience. Clients do tell this. It's different something. I feel I ate this and then I got. So there are multiple facets which has their connection. And Ayurveda do takes all these into account.
Perfect. So what can you tell us about Ayurvedic studies? This could be quite interesting for people because usually we don't have this knowledge. We don't usually imagine that you study Ayurveda at the university level. We think that it's something just like a common knowledge. So could you please describe us, if you want to become an Ayurvedic doctor in India, what kind of studies do you need to take? How long do they take, and etc.?
Well, that's of course again a good question. Ayurveda studies is it's a bachelor and postgraduate studies. So you can have it's a topic, or it's the studies are taught at university level. So there is an entrance exam after your plus twos, or after your yeah, like it's a bachelor degree. So you have entrance exam, and then you have to study for a degree called as B.A.M.S, Bachelor of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery as well. Many people don't know that surgery, outpatient department, OPD procedures are taught, and they have been very well practiced, Kshara Sutra and all these things. So all these things are taught in a period of 4.5 years. So 4.5 years of bachelor studies with 1 year of internship is there. And this internship is in the hospitals, rural hospitals and urban hospitals. The admission to these courses are by the rank, and it's like a common entrance test, which is very popularly known as NEET. It's a national entrance eligibility plus entrance cum eligibility test. So it is a common entrance test for all medical branches. So through that, the Ayurveda students are picked. And so according to rank, you get the seat and the college. So in short, you have to study for 5.5 years, including the internship. And after that, so you become a bachelor in Ayurveda. So you have kind of knowledge. And if you want to study more, or you want to specialize, you want to get master's degree, that is also an option. So master's degree is of 3 years. So you again have an entrance exam at the national level for the postgraduate studies in Ayurveda. So you can specialize into this, like if you want to specialize in a child medicine or pediatrics, which is commonly known. So which is I'm specialized in Ayurvedic pediatrics. So you have to give an entrance exam, then same way you get a college, you get seat, and you have to study for 3 years. You have to defend your thesis, dissertation. So you have a dissertation to complete in a period of 3 years. So it's a part of research. So we have this clinical research and research and statistics module, which we study in the first year of in the post-graduation or master's degree. Then the other 2 years we spent in a clinical trials, and we do that, and we present a thesis, and we defend that thesis in the final Viva was examination, which is carried out. And yeah, then you become a specialized doctor, and there are 8 branches and more than that. So it's kind of 8 to 9 years of study, and then you really go into the practice. So yeah, that's quite
a lot of work, and longer studies than actually in the Czech Republic. And Sayali, can you explain what are the branches actually of study? What are the specializations? I can't say this word. You said that you are specialized in pediatry. So yeah, what are the others that actually...
There is a branch. There is a branch which deals with the Kaya Chikitsa. I will say an Ayurvedic name because the Doctor of Medicine degree which you get is of this, the MD in Kaya Chikitsa. So it's like you can integrate or correlate it with internal medicine, kind of internal medicine, which is Ayurvedic internal medicine. And there is pediatrics, then you have surgery, then you have a lot of other branches as well. You have Dravya Guna, which is herbology, Ayurvedic herbology. You have Kriya Sharir, which is the the physiology, you can say. You have anatomy, Sharir Rachana, we call it as in Ayurvedic terms or Sanskrit terms. So that part is there. So there are many different branches, and the curriculum wise, I would like to say we do study essential modern medicine. It is included in the curriculum to study the essential modern medicine. Along with that, you have to full-fledgedly study Ayurveda along with it. So a person who is a bachelor degree in Ayurveda has to study modern medicine, plus he have to excel into that, and of course in Ayurveda. So it's a hard work.
It's actually leading to my next question, because usually people think that with Ayurveda you can treat your digestion, maybe your skin problems, but we are not aware of the wide range of topics that you can actually approach with Ayurveda. And so how is it, you just described the branches of Ayurveda that one can study. So how is it actually Ayurveda practiced in India? Let's say, imagine I'm a patient who has some problem. Do people usually go to Ayurvedic doctors, or do they go to Western medicine doctors? How does this actually work?
Yeah. So if a person is sick, and so it's practiced and consumed, of course, practiced by the doctors and consumed by the patients or clients in a mixed way. Current scenario is mixed. So people go for only allopathy medicine. They opt for only allopathy medicine. Many of the people, the major mass or the mass of people, they go for mixed or integrated. They take Ayurveda as well as allopathy and other holistic systems also. Some consume homeopathy as well. And a rising number of people are taking only Ayurveda. So a person is sick or person is in emergency also, they go only for Ayurveda as well. And this mass of people is rising. Yeah.
This is interesting, because usually people would imagine that Ayurveda is more for chronic diseases and not for emergencies. So you're saying that also the opposite is true?
Exactly. I would say some of the hospital names which are really, I mean, Punarvasu Ayurveda Chikitsalaya, it's the name of the hospital based in Pune. It is one of the hospitals which do take in the patients in emergency. Another one is based in Nashik. It's in Maharashtra state, Chakrapani Ayurveda. They also do have emergency provisions, and they do take patients and they treat Ayurveda they treat clients in an Ayurveda way. So, and there are private practitioners also, and it's a big chunk. It's a rising number of people who are consuming Ayurveda in the form of emergency.
So is this something like a current trend that I wanted to ask you about? You know, what are the trends in Ayurveda? Is there any advancement as well, or do doctors, Ayurvedic doctors, tend to stick to authentic Ayurveda, what was written in the scripts, or how does it look in the year of 2022?
Yeah, that's great. In 2022, the authenticity depends on the methods you practice and the background with which you prescribe. The background with which you prescribe. Example I'll give you of Abhyanga. Okay, you go for a massage in any salon, or you go for in a spa.
I would just explain that Abhyanga is a therapy with warm oil, a therapy of the whole body.
Yes.
Someone can call it massage.
Yeah. So the massage is very common thing, you know, like in any salon you can go and have massage, and Abhyanga is also applying oil. So is what Ayurveda says only application of oil, but it's not like that. Application of oil when you have eaten something, application of oil, whether in the state when you have fever, application of oil, when in the cold form, in the lukewarm form, which oil to use, where to use, what should be the direction, and all these things and their effects on the body. So simple application of oil can be called as massage, but Ayurveda tells, an Ayurvedic doctor or a person who has practiced Ayurveda will of course say to you in detail about when to practice, whom not to practice Abhyanga, in which state you should not practice Abhyanga, what it can cause. Suppose you have eaten full diet and then you go for a massage in a parlor or salon. It is not at all advised by Ayurveda. Why? It will cause ajirna. So it also gives an answer to the why and how of a method, which you may say head massage or shirodhara, which is very common in spa and wellness centers. But which person should consume this, when to consume it, with what background to consume it. It's the detailing which Ayurveda gives, and that has the result.
Thank you. I would just add that Shirodhara is another therapy of pouring warm oil on someone's forehead, and it has many benefits, and there is a very deep knowledge about when, how, to whom it can be practiced, as you just explained. So is this actually something that one can consider, you know, if I'm either in Europe or in India, and if I see that these therapies, like for example, as you said, Shirodhara, is offered to anyone from the street, would you consider this Ayurveda, or would you say that this would be an example of wellness, and that it's very often disguised as Ayurveda, but this would be more the commercial side of spa, and it has nothing to do with a real treatment?
Exactly, and you very well explained it, that yes, it's a commercial side, and Ayurveda is somehow getting masked by this commercial aspect. But of course, we should go into the reality and why it matters, why to see the real side. How does it matter whether you take Shirodhara in Ayurvedic way or with all the background, or you take it in a commercial way? That I would like to explain is it matters in the results. So if you go and just take Shirodhara in whatever state, and it may not have the desired effect, or the worst part, you may have some side effect. So that would lead to some of the major things like, oh, Ayurveda don't have side effects, or so you don't know the effects which you may experience with the wrong use of these methods, and in a repeated way or in a wrong way. So, and in long term as well. It's very much true in case of yoga also, and pranayama especially. If you practice the pranayama in a wrong way, or you get missed by something, if it is not properly or well guided, there also can be the very serious effects on your body, which you do experience. So yeah, this is a research area. Here some research part, I guess, is more needed. But this is what I have seen over my practice and my own experience, that these practices deal with your prana, deal with your energy systems in the body. So you have to be very, very careful when you go for it. It's not just any spa thing or wellness thing.
Yeah, thank you for pointing this out, because this could be considered as one of the myths, that in Ayurveda there are no side effects. But you're saying that if the therapies are practiced wrongly, there could be really bad side effects, if I understood correctly.
Correct. Bad side effects, we should say that. And there are, of course, good also. If you practice in a good way, you can maintain your health for a longer time. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Dr. Sayali, my next question leads to something that I would say almost any Ayurvedic student or practitioner ever asked to themselves, and it's related to doshas. We know that there are 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and very often it's difficult for us to imagine it, what it actually means. Like, is it a substance, or how does it look like? Is it real, or is it something that was just, created, and it has no substance, as I said? Could you tell us, how do you see these doshas? How would you explain it to someone?
Correct. It's a very fundamental question whenever people go for whenever people listen to these terms, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So the thing is that it's not a substance, first of all, and we don't need. If it's a substance, we need to imagine something. Vata, Pitta, Kapha is a language, and if we Vata, Pitta, Kapha is a representation of 5 basic elements into your body. So Pitta can be disintegrated. I mean, Pitta is formed by the Agni and Vayu element. You're getting it? So then Vayu is with Vayu and Akash element. So earth and air. So air and space, Vayu is formed. So it's a representation of 5 basic elements into your body. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha has its own properties, which 5 basic element has. So Vata is Ruksha, which is dry. Tatra Ruksho, Laghu, it's light. Shita, it's cool in property. So we can say that Vata is a team of these properties. Pitta is a team of certain properties. So there are individual molecules, we can say, or we can say atoms or molecules which have these properties. So whenever you see a problem, so just jump to a problem. Suppose I see headache. So there is pain in the upper part of your head or forehead. So a pain is an element. So that element is caused due to Vata, and it can be due to also Pitta also. Why? But for that we need to see property, like how we diagnose that whether this headache is due to the Vata or Pitta or Kapha also. It can be of any of the 3 points. So what you have eaten, where you have been, whether you have taken bath with the cold shower. So the guna or the property which you have consumed, the molecules which you have consumed of specific property, are they more or very less? So likewise you get that problem. So this is how we do disintegrate the problem in the language of Vata, Pitta and Kapha. You're getting it? So Vata, Pitta and Kapha is not something we spit out. Oh, I got cough. So Kapha is not cough, and Pitta is not acidity, and Vata is not burbs or So it's like it's the representation of 5 basic elements, to say in one line, into the body. See, there are 2. We interact with the nature. So man and the nature. So there is a system of a man and a system of nature. So whatever there exists into the nature, it same way represents into the human body. So there are 5 basic elements into the nature which form the nature, which run the nature. There is heat, there is space, there is air, there is earth, there is fire. So all these elements, and same way their representation is in the body in the form of Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So this is how I see a person, a problem, a client, its agony in this language and not as a substance. So if you do permutations and combinations of this, if you take some of the Vata properties, some of the Pitta properties, some of the Kapha properties, and they are running very smoothly, it forms a constitution. It forms the Prakriti, which is formed at the time of the birth in the womb, along with the other element of soul, which modern medicine, the science is not sure. It's not fitting into the model of their evidence. But the soul is a very important part. We call it as Shadbhav, means you have to have soul entering into these physical world, which runs the body. So I see Vata Pitta Kapha in this way.
Perfect. So if I understood it well, you're basically saying that it's more of an energy than a real substance that you can touch and see.
Which controls real substance.
Yeah. This parallel of teams is a very nice explanation. That it's this property of it's the guna, this characteristic.
Exactly. Guna.
Yeah, as you said, dry, cold, and etc. Thank you. In this way, maybe I would ask you. You've mentioned Prakriti, which means the elemental, the original constitution of people. Is there any way that you often consider as misconception when you spoke about, for example, Vata dosha or Vata Prakriti of someone? Is there any mistake that you often see that we who are that people who are not so much familiar with the real authentic Ayurveda and the real wisdom, that we usually understand it wrongly?
Well, yeah.
I'm not sure if my question is very clear, but I mean, if there is any misconception in dividing people into prakritis, you know, that sometimes it can be misleading.
Yeah, it can be misleading. Sometimes, see, you meant like if we want to examine someone's prakriti, we may is there a chance of misjudging it or any concept in Ayurveda, or can we have any misjudgment, and can it lead to some wrong things? So yeah, prakriti is, first of all, I would like to tell, prakriti is something, your body constitution. See, we feel like our body runs, everyone's body runs like in the same way, but it's not like some people like sour, some people like sweet to eat, so everyone has likes and dislikes, different kinds of likes and dislikes. It's the same way we have different, everyone who has black hair or blonde hair, so they have, though they're same color, the texture can be different. Everyone has eyes, their color might be different, and the way, of course, then mental constitution can be also different to see the same problem. So we, though as a human being, same, having this, though we share something very similar, we do have very basic formational differences, which prakriti states. Like, we can categorize people into Vata Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti and Kapha Prakriti. So prakriti is something which you can, it's a set of characteristics. It's a set of characteristics on the basis of which we can classify people, on the basis of their physical parameters as well as their mental parameters. And the aim, why Ayurveda described it, first of all, at first place, why Ayurveda felt a need, or the people, or why people, acharyas or people who contributed in formation of Ayurveda, why they thought like there has to be this kind of classification. So this is the classification to basically understand the agony, to understand the problem. So on the basis of this, we can classify the problems in a very simple manner and very fast. So if a person who is Vata Prakriti is likely to have problem with the cold things, if he consumes cold in any form, in the food or in any atmospheric form, he is going to have sure shot some problem at some point of life. So he should stay away. So Vata Prakriti people tend to dislike cold. So this is a kind of characteristic have been stated. So Prakriti assessment is majorly for the prevention of disease and solving the problem of disease or agony, we can say. So people usually tend to judge people on the basis of Prakriti. That one thing can happen, the misinterpretations. And also on the basis of Prakriti, we tend to just see that, oh, this I should eat and this I should not. So it's not just about eating and consumption or judging people, it's about solving real life problems. If you have lot of acidity, so it can be the problem related to your Prakriti. So there might be certain substances which you should eat carefully. So this is all about maintaining the health. That is why this classification has been stated at first place. So on the basis of that, misinterpretations can happen, especially in the Prakriti assessment, and it's very popular right now. So you make sure you conduct the Prakriti assessment very carefully.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes it's a lifelong journey, I'm saying, to find your own Prakriti and to really understand it. What is the original foundation and what is the one that we gained throughout our life.
Yes.
Dr. Sayali, thank you very much. I just noticed that the time has advanced, and we have some questions from our listeners. So I'm gonna, if we can just briefly answer them. So the first question is, which spices harmonize Pitta dosha, and which spices do the opposite, disharmonize?
Okay, so Pitta is Tikshna Ushna. It's sharp to act, and it's hot in potency. It's Virya. Yeah. So spices which usually are of these properties, they tend to aggravate the hot potency, and Tikshna spices, who has very strong taste to it. So they tend to aggravate the Pitta, and they may cause problem to people who are consuming. So usually the best spices for harmonizing Pitta, which can subside the Pitta, are cumin, one of you can say, and coriander seeds. Coriander seeds are the best one. And ginger powder, which we say sunt or sont, many people pronounce it, ginger powder, which we get, it's actually Pitta subsiding, though it's hot in potency, so it acts in a bit different way. So sont or ginger powder is the best one to harmonize Pitta, provided I will say that this also depends on what your constitution is, and second thing, for which problem you feel that your Pitta is not harmonized. So you should address that also. So the cause, the nidana, the reason, the hetu, all these are synonyms, they also matter. So Pitta can be not only physical entity. You understand that Pitta is also, Pitta is what? Pitta is everything that transforms into your body from something to something. So if you have taken food, my finger will be formed from the food I have taken. My finger, the cells, the skin is formed from that. So can I see, oh, this is the rice, oh, this is the roti I have eaten? No, the Pitta or the Jatharagni, it converts that food into this tissue. You get, it converts the food into this tissue, this energy, this substance. So this Pitta represents a transformation in your body. Transformation, breakdown. So the same thing can happen at the mental level if you're able to, whether you are able to grasp a thing. So that depends on the Pitta. If you're stuck, oh my God, I cannot remember, I forget. That can be a Pitta abnormality as well. So Pitta is not something, oh, it's only related to digestive enzymes, it's only related to my digestive system. No, it's very much more than that. So back to our question is why you need to harmonize Pitta. What is your issue for which you need to harmonize Pitta? Why you feel that you need some spices to harmonize Pitta? So that thing, I guess our viewer must ask themselves, or you can consult anyone. Yeah.
Perfect.
Another.
It's a wider topic. Yeah. This actually shows the depth of Ayurveda, that it's not black and white. You really have to ask lots of questions. So another question from a different rank. The questions are actually from various fields. What's the difference between ghee and cultured ghee, please?
Oh, that's a widely asked question. See, basically, ghee is what? It is the best part or which can come out of the milk. It is the most, this is the most best part can come out of the milk with process. Okay, so how ghee is formed? You asked about ghee and cultured ghee. So the thing is that you need to understand ghee is by which process the ghee is formed. So you first insert the culture or the yogurt or dahi or curd into milk, and you curdle all the milk. So you put culture into the milk, and then you make a buttermilk, you take out the butter, and when you boil down the butter, you get ghee. So usually in in West, usually this process is skipped and you directly boil the butter and you get ghee. So that's not ghee, we should say that substance which you get is not ghee. Ghee is always formed from the culture. So that transformation has to happen of culture. So this is the difference between ghee and cultured ghee. Ghee is actually formed from the cultured milk. Milk has to be inserted with the culture, and it has to form like that.
Perfect. Thank you. And another question from a completely different area is, for a Pitta Vata Prakriti person, Pitta Vata constitution person, is it good to skip breakfast, or will it increase Pitta? Yeah. Radhika Ramana asks this question.
Oh, that's thank you for the question. And Pitta Vata Prakriti person, see, skip breakfast or not is an entirely thing which depends on your hunger or appetite or Agni. We call this as Agni represents hunger. So if you're hungry at the time of the breakfast is usually whatever you have slept, and then you're hungry. So I will say, in spite of your constitution, you just go for the criteria of hunger. If you're really hungry, then it's a valid thing to take breakfast. So you should not skip breakfast. But at a certain point in a weekday, you may feel, oh, I'm not hungry today because I had a very heavy meal yesterday night, or So you can skip breakfast. So it does not depend on the uh, tight framework, like there has to be 3 meals a day, you have to eat every half an hour, or you have to do long fast. So of course, if you are pitta vata, you have a pitta predominance, you are supposed to take care of your hunger. You should be attentive to your hunger. So when you're hungry, it might be at the breakfast time, or it might be in the afternoon, or it might be in the evening. You should not skip the meal. If you're a pitta prakriti predominant person, pitta predominant, you have to take more care about your hunger, and you should not skip the breakfast or any meal. But if you're not hungry, then you should not eat. And people don't want. At some point, I also would like to. I guess we do have time, is it?
Not much, not much. We still have
not much. Okay. So in short, I'll say that you should also take care of a thing like you should make sure that
it's breaking the connection. So I'll hope that Dr. Sayali will get back to us. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, unfortunately, we lost Dr. Sayali. Just yeah, let me quickly invite her again. It's probably the peak time for internet right now. So everyone is using it, and then it's getting slower, our connection. Let's wait a bit, and if it doesn't work out, the connection, then we would just explain the question in the comment section. Okay, so it seems that it's not working. It's okay. Yes, I'm again on my own. So I would like to take this opportunity to really thank Dr. Sayali, and I'm sure that we will do another interview sometimes. Yes. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. And sorry for the I guess network problem. Now it's better.
However, you're not connected on the screen. I can't see you.
Okay.
So maybe Dr. Sayali, let's move to the last question, and then we would conclude. Just closing from the previous, I understood that it's not black and white. Everyone really needs to consider their hunger. If they are really hungry, there's nothing like concept like 3 meals a day that you explain that we should stick to. It really is very individual, and if one is hungry and they don't eat, they can harm their body. They can harm themselves as well. So the last question is how to prepare for pregnancy at the age of 36.
Okay, so 36, in spite of age, there are 4 factors Ayurveda states. It's the Rutu, Kshetra, Ambu and Bija. I'll explain these words in a very short time. Rutu is the season, and the season in your body condition, general health, and your periods. So you should have regular periods, and the pattern of periods, the menstruation has to be perfect. Kshetra is the health of the uterus or the womb, where you are actually the baby is going to reside. So it should be healthy. I'm telling you, this is fast. Then Ambu is the nutrition which the uterus is going to get, and the nutrition which baby is going to get. So your nutrition or ahara rasa, or your appetite and the food which your in general health boils down to your ahara rasa. So that has to be perfect. And your bija means then your seeds. Bija means seeds. Your ovary, the ovulation, and the other counterpart is the semen or the sperms. So all these bijas or seeds which is going to form a plant or the baby, they have to be healthy. These four factors you must take into the consideration if you want to conceive. So yeah, and elaborately we have a lot to discuss regarding this, but in short I can say this, that these four factors must be at a proper stage and in their best health to have a pregnancy at 36.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sayali. I would just add what you would be explaining later, that there is a whole process that one can undertake, or can really increase their chances of getting pregnant, like cleansing your body, going through panchakarma if it's relevant for both the mother and the potential father. So it should be a conscious choice, and this is a great question which would need more time. So Dr. Sayali, although you are not appearing on the screen right now, I'm not sure why it's happening. I really would like to thank you for your time and your energy, and everything that you explained today was very well said, and I think the listeners could get better understanding of real Ayurveda, what it is, and how it can help us, and how we can help Ayurveda as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Last thing, can you please say how can people contact you? Where do you practice? And so on.
So currently I'm based in Prague, Czech Republic, and I travel all over Czech Republic. And people can contact me on Facebook and Facebook Messenger, or they can text me on Instagram. I have my page Dhatri Yoga and Ayurveda Shala, where they can text me. If you're based in Prague, you can text me over this, and we can meet, we can have consultation. And if you're Republic, we can fix a consultation appointment.
Okay, so it's probably a sign that we should really finish. It's the time of lunch. It's 12 o'clock when our Agni should be the highest. So this is, I would say it's symbolic. Now we lost Dr. Sayali completely. The connection broke down. So once more, many thanks. I think Dr. Sayali has explained how you can contact her on her website, Facebook or Instagram. And I'm looking forward to see you next time at our next interview, or in one of our posts. So thank you for your attention, and